Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Dory. Normally this is my weight loss journey channel that I document everything on. And I'll go over my stats quick, but this is actually a different type of a video. I had a scare 2 days ago and was brought in by an ambulance to the emergency room, and I spent a night in the hospital. Most of you, well, some of you, I would say, are friends with me on my personal Facebook. So you guys know exactly what had happened if you follow me there. And of course, there's a few people who are really, really close to me, like Kristen and Joni and stuff that do have me on Facebook and do communicate. And so basically, they know what happened. So let me start by saying I am Dory. I'm 46 years old. I am a mom of 6. I had weight loss surgery on September 12th, 2016 with Dr. Darren Tischler in Hartford, Connecticut at Hartford Hospital. My highest recorded weight was 350 pounds, and my surgery weight was 300.5. And my lowest I've ever seen has been 169.6. Last video that I made, which is funny because I'm basically wearing the same sweater, and I'm also eating the same meal prep thing that I had talked about. Anyhow, so when I came to you a couple days ago, I was shocked at my weight loss. I had lost 6 pounds in 1 week, and I've lost another pound. So I'm down to 172.0, which I'm really excited about. I'm really happy for, and all that good stuff. But I actually wanted to come to you. I'm not feeling 100%. I'm still kind of feeling, I wonder if it's these glasses. Let me take the glasses off. Maybe my eyesight is what's throwing me off. But anyhow, you guys can let me know in the comments after I tell you my story and the scariness that I went through. The day that video was recorded, I believe, was on Tuesday. Wednesday comes, and I do the same exact thing that I do every morning. I get my children ready for school if it's a school day. I have their backpacks ready, coats out the door. They go on the bus, and then I take my 4-year-old to preschool. Excuse me. After I drop her off at preschool, I head right to Planet Fitness, not too far from there, and I meet a friend of mine and we work out. So Monday the workout was wonderful. Tuesday the workout was incredible. I did abs. My abs hurt crazy. I did planks that I've never done in my life. I've done sit-ups the first time in like probably 25 years I've ever done a sit-up. So it was really great. Wednesday I go to the gym. Do great. We lifted some weights. I went on something that's like an elliptical, but it doesn't have the arm part. It doesn't go like this. You just hold on or don't hold on, and it kind of goes like this. I don't know. Whatever it's called. I did that for 10 minutes, which was great. Amazing. I left there. I came home like I normally would, and I took a shower and I ate. That was approximately, I'm going to say 10:30 in the morning. My husband called about, I don't know, 11 o'clock, and we just talked like we normally do. He did not start classes yet at tech school. And so we just began talking. And as the time went on, approximately 11:15, I was baking cookies. I was dancing around my kitchen, just the normal morning for me. And I went and laid down on the couch, and I kind of looked out the window, and it was bright, and it kind of caught this eye, my right eye, and it made like, not floaters, kind of like, they looked to me like little tiny rectangles in the corner of my eye, like half of my eye, and they were kind of like a rainbowy color. And so, it was kind of a little alarming, and I said to my husband, babe, I can't really see right. My right eye is just not normal. And I know he's so far away, it's not that he can do anything about it. And I also know that he's probably not taking what I'm saying with a grain of salt at all. He's probably just like, okay. So it kept going on. And then about 11:30, yeah, right about 11:30, I came into the kitchen. I'm still on the phone with him talking away. He's on speakerphone. I'm just walking around with the phone. And I grab a can of cat food for my cats. I have 3 kitty cats. And I walked to my cabinet to pour it in a bowl, and I looked up at the 3 cabinets that are right there, and I could not remember what cabinet my bowls were in. And so that kind of was like alarming. So I said to my husband, honey, I'm standing here at the counter and I can't figure out what cabinet our bowl is in to give the cat food. And I think, of course, again, he didn't really think anything of it. And then, I don't know if you guys saw on my Instagram, those Smart Cakes, it's by a company, Smart Baking Company, and they're called Smart Cakes, and they're little tiny muffins, and they're delicious. They have 0 net carbs. Yeah, 0 net carbs. They're amazing. They taste, excuse me, they taste delicious. I hope I'm not having an episode now. This is terrible. Anyhow, so they taste delicious. I found that I had gotten some for Christmas, and I had bought in some, and I even brought some to San Antonio and gave some to my husband and gave some to Kristen, and they're great. And so what happened was, mine ended up getting mold on them. So I was back and forth with the company about it, but at the same time, I'm also back and forth with my friend who owns a nutrition store up the store called Absolute Nutrition, which is where we purchased them. So he has no idea that they're moldy, and he can't even believe that the shelf life is as small as the rep is telling me on email, because his rep is not telling him the same thing. So anyhow, so I walk away. I finally figure out the bowl for the cat food, put the cat food in, go put it down for the cats. And then Jim, who owns the nutrition store, he's texting me, asking me flavors, what flavors I had gotten and what I found mold, because they want to replace them as well. Well, I can't think of the flavors. So this was even more alarming, because now as I sit here, the flavors are coconut, cinnamon, and tangerine. It just comes out. That's just, normal. But at the time, I couldn't think of it. And then at one point, I did think of the cinnamon, but I couldn't spell it. So I'm trying to text, and I'm putting like C-O instead of C-I. It was just terrible. So I say to my husband, hey, babe, do you remember what flavors that stuff is, the muffins, because Jim wants to know. So he tells me, I think it's orange or something. So finally we say tangerine. So I send that to him. But then now, as I'm starting to speak to my husband, my words are coming out slurred. So at the end of a sentence, I'm trailing. This is by 11:45. That's it. I know something's not right with me. Just not right. I just never do that. Sorry, I'm trying to slow down because I'm so fearful that this is going to happen again, that I don't feel right, and I feel like this is going to be another episode. So anyhow, so at that point, I say to my husband, honey, I think I'm having a stroke. I'm going to call 911. I have to hang up. So I hung up with him, and I take my phone, which is a normal iPhone 7, and I look down at it, and I can't differentiate in my mind, am I going to text 911, am I going to email 911, or am I going to call, and how do I call? And so thank God that they created a button that will call for you, Surrey. So thankfully, I at first said, Surrey, call blank. I don't want to trigger her to come on while I'm filming. So I said that, and nothing happened. So I remembered I have it programmed that I have to say, hey, and her name, and, this robot name, and then call, 911. So I do that, and they come on, the 911 operator, what is your emergency? I tell them, I think I'm having a stroke. At this point, I'm outside. I'm trying to flag down cars, because in my mind, I'm thinking I have a small window of time whether I'm going to pass out or not be able to talk, and I just need help. Someone needs to know I'm having a stroke. And so I went ahead and told them my address, but my number on my house is 242, and for some reason, every time I said it, I would say 243, and it would come out 3. 243. It was just odd. And so finally I got it out when I said it really slow. He got it. He knew where it was. He told me, I'm going to connect you with the local, whatever, I don't know what it was, 911, fire department, whatever, which is right up the street from me. They're one street over. Excuse me. And so he said, you know, I have your information. They're going to ask you again, but in the event you can't speak, they're going to come to you, so you'll be okay. So he tells me, leave your door unlocked and just sit on your couch and wait for them. And so that's what I did. And they came in and they started asking me questions, and they took my blood pressure. And my blood pressure at that point was 172 over 100. My blood pressure is never as obese as I've ever had, ever, during pregnancy, as high as it's gone. And, you know, they feared preeclampsia when I was pregnant on a couple of occasions because of my weight. It has never gone that high. I was in shock that it was even that high. So they were asking me questions. There were 3 firemen. And I just continued to say that I was confused and I didn't know what they were saying. And so I comprehended what they were saying, but I didn't know how to answer them because I had forgotten. It was like I had Alzheimer's, which I hope I never, ever, ever get Alzheimer's because that is scary. So in any event, 2 EMTs finally show up with the ambulance. Not finally, they came quick. And they asked me the same questions, and I kept just closing my eyes and trying to think of how to say the answer, and I couldn't do it. Simple things like my address flowed out quickly, but then I second-guessed myself whether that was correct. My social security number, I said it all in a row. Everything was fine, but it didn't seem right. I kept second guessing. Maybe that's not it. My birth date, same thing. Maybe that's not it. And then I started getting in my hand, right, this hand, I started getting pins and needles. And I also started getting pins and needles on the back of my tongue for whatever reason. And so they finally get me, so they get me out. I know right before they came, and I knew that they were coming, I sat down on the couch and I knew I only had like 2 things I could do in case I was about to pass out. So one was I posted on Facebook because I know my children, my adult children, would see it on Facebook in the event I couldn't contact them. And then I text my mom because my mom isn't on Facebook, and so at least she would know. And if by chance anyone needed to know, that my mom would tell them, especially my 2 older adult children. So I go out in the ambulance. Of course, I'm in the ambulance. And I see my daughter's car pull into my driveway like out of like crazy, you know, like the Dukes of Hazzard. And hang on, I have to try to get some nutrition because I have to make sure I'm eating with all this. So she comes and she's crying. They open up the back of the ambulance. At this point, I'm almost back to normal. I can comprehend more, and I'm almost back to normal. I just kept telling them I'm confused. That's how I can describe it, like a stroke. I'm confused. And then I thought I was having a TIA, which is kind of like a mini stroke. Because I'm only 46 years old. I have no health problems. Losing all this weight, I definitely have no health problems. I have no blood pressure problems. I'm not on any medication. And so anyways, so I tell my daughter, she opens up the thing. I tell the guy, listen, my daughter's here. She's going to want to come into this ambulance or see me or whatever. So we open up the back of the ambulance, and he, you know, I'm telling my daughter, it's okay, Sarah. Don't cry. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to the hospital. I thought I was having a stroke. I don't think I'm having a stroke now. I'm almost back to normal. So I'm just going to go in and have testing done. And so whatever, long story short, she goes, and of course now because I have kids to pick up at school in a couple hours and all this, they all have to jump in to kind of, you know, do what mom does. And so that was great. That was incredible. Thankful. So I get into the ambulance, you know, we're driving, and I say to him, don't tell me I'm going to have to go to the emergency room and sit in the waiting room for 11 hours. And he goes, oh, no, not what you have. He goes, no, I'm getting you right in there immediately. And so he phones over, you know, be there in 6 minutes, en route, you know, healthy 46-year-old female, blah, 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 and tells me all this, or tells them all this stuff about me. And then, so he says to me, and the EMT was amazing. His name's Greg. I got to find him. He's amazing. But anyway, so he tells me, we are going to get there. And just so you know, there are going to be a barrage of doctors and nurses that are going to be there waiting for you. They're going to ask you all the questions we've asked you. Don't worry, I'm going to speak for you on the medical terms and things like that. Don't worry, you're in good hands. He was amazing. Love, love, love him. So I get there, and sure enough, there's like 10 people. And everything happened so quick. They were asking me simple questions at this point, as like, she held up a pen and asked me what that was. I said, a pen. She said, what's this? And I said, thumbs up. They asked me who the president was, what date it was, or what year it was, what month we were in. It took me, like, I couldn't just, you know, when they said what president, you know, what, because they said, the doctor who saw me later on had said, I'm going to ask you some really weird questions, just answer them. And when he said, who's the president, for some reason, I thought for me, I'm thinking, oh, is Barack Obama the president? No. I said, oh, no, Donald Trump. That's it. And so anyhow, so, you know, they put an IV in me immediately. The EMT tried this arm, and he couldn't do it in the ambulance. So this one girl, she was amazing, absolutely amazing. She came over, and I tell you, within 1 second, I had my IV in, and she pulled blood from me, which I had no idea she did. Once I got into the observation room and I saw them tagging blood vials, like 6 of them, with a sticker, I looked and I said, is that my blood? And they said, yes. I said, how did you take that? And she's like, I did it as soon as I put your IV in. I'm like, that was incredible. Incredible. She is amazing. Gifted, gifted, gifted. So, let's see. So they ordered a CAT scan. I had a CAT scan with the dye, contrast. So I put the dye in my body. It's very warm. It feels weird. It feels like you peed on yourself. And they looked and did a CAT scan and looked at my head. And the CAT scan came back fine. No blockages, nowhere to cause for concern, nothing. But when I got my doctor, who was an Indian doctor, which I am partial to Indian doctors. I have always had such amazing, the most intelligent Indian doctors ever. When I saw him, I was so excited. So when he came in, I said to him, you know, there is something I forgot to tell you guys. I went on Christmas to San Antonio, Texas, and when I flew, my whole ear blocked. I had already had an upper respiratory cold or something. My ear has been blocked, and it's still blocked from Christmas. I said, so I don't know if that has anything to do with throwing things off, but I can still feel all the sinus pressure up here and here. That prompted him to go back and look at the CAT scan. And I'm glad he did, because he found that I have a bunch of sinusitis fluid or sinusitis behind my ear and in my lymph nodes. Now, they didn't find out the lymph node part until they did an MRI. So they kept me overnight, Wednesday night into yesterday after, or like noonish, I got out. I got discharged. So they kept me over for observation. By the time I arrived with the ambulance, it was approximately, I'm going to say it was 12:30. That's my best guess, was 12:30. By 1 o'clock, I was fine. I was back to normal. I wanted to go walk the halls. I could go back to the gym. I wanted to just not be laying in a bed. But I was a good patient in case they were going to find something. I have 6 children, so I wanted to make sure that they looked for everything. So they ordered an MRI, and I went down 4:45 a.m. yesterday morning, and they ordered the MRI. The MRI came back great. nothing wrong. And then that's when they saw that there's some problems with my lymph nodes around here as far as the sinus. So Wednesday night, he started me on amoxicillin 875 milligrams because he said that it was, you know, they needed to get it. And so normally it's like 500 milligrams. This was 875 each one. And so I take them 2 a day. So I took 2 in the hospital, 1 Wednesday night, 1 Thursday morning, and then I took 1 last night and then 1 this morning. Oh, and then, wait a minute, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, oh wait, yeah, Thursday night, Friday morning. Whatever. I'm confused, but whatever. So in any event, so I'm on that. But as I was saying, I don't feel 100% yet. Like I feel like I want to, but I feel like my speech, I feel like there's something there. I feel like I'm still able to talk and I'm still able to go fast, whereas I wasn't when I was talking the other day. But there's just something there, and maybe it's just worry. I don't know. But I called my primary care. Oh, and I should mention that once the ambulance got there and they got me all situated, I was just sitting there, my blood pressure was back to normal. Once I felt normal, my blood pressure was back to normal. And I get my blood pressure taken pretty regularly because I'm at the doctor's if I have a cold, and I had a sinus infection. I had amoxicillin or whatever they put me on by a Z-Pak like 2 months ago. And so I've never had high blood pressure ever like that, ever. Especially after having weight loss surgery. December of 2016, a couple months after I had the surgery, they took me off the blood pressure meds that I was on, and I was only on a small dose. So when they took it again, it was 124/73 or something like that. And then when they took it during the night, Wednesday night, it was like I had been sleeping. They woke me up to take my vitals, and it was 107/56. So it wasn't, you know, so that was a fluke, and I think that just had to do with whatever was happening in my head and maybe this infection. So they sent me home. They want me to see my primary care, which I'm waiting for them to call back so they can squeeze me in. I'm also going to see my friend owns a chiropractic office. She has been a chiropractor for, I don't know, 30 years. And they own the largest chiropractor office around here. We go to church together. So she's going to align my spine because I think that might have to do with a lot of the problems I'm having in my neck area. And I've been meaning to do this for like a year because losing all that weight, my spine, obviously losing 180 pounds is not going to be the way it's supposed to be, and having 6 pregnancies. And so I'm going to see her to have my spine aligned. And I'm also, after going to the primary care, I may also go do acupuncture just for migraines, because what it boiled down to at the end of this appointment, I'm really sorry I've gone so long. I just feel like it's so important to put that out there because since I've put it on Facebook, I've had several friends tell me that this has happened to them. So basically what I was experiencing is called a silent migraine. I didn't have any of the pain. I woke up Wednesday morning with a slight headache and I took 2 Tylenol. And then I went about my day and my headache was gone. But like right now I feel pain from my neck down to my shoulders. And so, you know, I think he did mention, you know, my neck and my shoulders and migraines. I don't have a migraine headache. I do have sinus pressure, and I do have still this, not maybe only 20% blocked ear, but it's still blocked. And so I am going to, you know, look into acupuncture to see if that's going to help. But I was saying that it's a silent migraine is what they call it. I looked it up. Sorry. I looked it up. I put it on my Facebook page, the link. And all the symptoms are all classic to what I was experiencing. Slurred speech, high blood pressure, confusion, tingling in your hand, right hand, mouth, everything classic. My cousin also had this episode before as well. So I'm going to see my PCP. The doctor that discharged me, I don't think he really saw that I was a bariatric patient because he suggested that I take a aspirin a day, which I have taken one yesterday and one today only because I'm afraid. So I'm going to go get some Prilosec and take that with it because I know my bariatric doctor and my PCP have always told me that if I had pain bad enough to take something with an NSAID, I could take a Prilosec and that would be okay. They would counteract each other for us bariatric patients. Please, that's my surgeon's advice and PCP's advice. Do not take that for yourself. I have a sleeve. Some people with bypass can't do that. Please. I'm not a doctor. So that is about it. I got home yesterday, got discharged. I took a shower right away because there's everyone and their mother and brother and sister in the hospital. They're almost operating at capacity for the flu. We all got our flu shot. Thankfully, I've never had the flu. Never. Knock on wood, flu shot, whatever. So anyway, so that is it. If I find out something else or I have another episode, which pray for me, I do not ever want to have to go through that again. That was so scary. So yeah, I'll come back. If not, I'll be back with an update on Monday. I love you guys.